Well, happy Mother's Day. We love you, moms.
Yes, we do. Happy Mother's Day. We know that certainly this year has been a challenging year for everyone.
Yeah.
Think about the last 12 to 14 months. It's been challenging, but maybe especially for all the moms.
Right.
So a very special Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. Stick around, because at the very end we have a little something for you.
We do.
But right now, I get the privilege of team teaching with the greatest mom on the planet, my amazing wife. And I really believe that we have a word from God for you today, for the moms, for those who aren't moms. But I want you to know that God is going to do something in your life today if you're ready to receive it. At the end of last year, God spoke to my heart and he said, get ready for ridiculous. like, God, what does that mean? Can you give me more information? And our part is to get ready. God's part is to bring the ridiculous.
Yep.
And I want to ask, are you ready? If not, how long does it take you to get ready?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take me that long, but I know it takes me longer than it does you.
It does, but you don't take too long. But you have more to do than I do.
Right. I mean, you got to think about your hair, your makeup, what outfit you're going to wear, jewelry that matches.
It's overwhelming just thinking about all that stuff.
I know, right? So, to be ready means to be prepared mentally or physically for some experience or action.
Yes. And I just got to say, when we celebrated your birthday this last Thursday and you came out, you looked ready.
I was ready.
And you looked ridiculous. But in life, many of us were praying for things that we're not preparing for. And why would God give us something that we're not prepared for? If it would be a burden and it wouldn't be a blessing. What if that job wouldn't be all you imagined? It would actually be like, oh no, I feel like I'm sinking. Why would God give you that spouse if you're not ready, and you would wreck the relationship? We need to get ready.
We do. And a spouse doesn't make you whole. It actually shows your holes.
Oh, that is so good. You see, sometimes we think, I just got to find someone who's going to complete me. It's two halves that become whole. No, it's not. It's two whole, healthy individuals coming together. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
But are you ready?
Right. So we're talking about being ready.
Ready for what?
Ready for ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So ridiculous is absurd.
Yes,
ridiculous is preposterous. It's ludicrous. It's outrageous. It's impossible. It's unbelievable.
It seems unbelievable. Like so many of us right now are like, it's ridiculous when I look out at the world. It's unbelievably bad. See, it's ridiculous when I look at my own life. It's unbelievably bad. But are you ready for ridiculous? The unbelievable goodness of God. Like when I look at you, I was like, ooh, people are like, how'd you get her? I was just like, I was ready for ridiculous. I was ready for ridiculence.
Oh, ooh, look at that. I love how Bruce Buffer intros fighters for UFC or boxing.
You know, she is ridiculous because not only is she beautiful on the outside and beautiful in her kindness on the inside, but she loves football and she loves UFC. So what does he do?
He says, let's get ready to rumble. And then he ends it with, it's time.
It's time.
It's time. So I want to say, let's get ready for ridiculous, because it's time.
It's time. It's time for ridiculous. And today, the title of our message is Better Than.
Yep.
If you're taking notes, write that down. If you're not taking notes, you should be. Write down better than. Because with God, your life can be better than.
Right.
Not just better than it is. It can be better than you can ask of God. It can be better than you could dream, or better than you can even imagine.
Right.
Let's now go to the Gospel of John, chapter 2.
On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee.
Do you remember our wedding?
I do.
I remember it.
Can't forget that.
Most beautiful bride ever on the most beautiful day. It was an incredible, absolutely incredible celebration.
It was.
I hope it was everything you dreamed of, girl.
Well, yeah, because as little girls, you dream of like your wedding day, who you're going to marry, where you're going to get married, what your dress looks like, the type of flowers. I mean, we want it to be perfect. Everything to go as planned.
Well,
it's a happy occasion.
It is. It's a happy occasion.
It is.
About a week and a half ago, we were at the dentist. And our dentist had surgery, and so someone was covering. So the dentist that was covering for him was just talking, and apparently her brother was engaged to get married. And the gal he was engaged to, sent him the quote for flowers.
How much?
$25,000.
That's ridiculous. Just for flowers.
With working on my mouth, I wanted to say, like, how do you become a florist? Like, what does it take to become a florist? That's ridiculous.
Right? Well, and who are you trying to impress? You got to realize that it's your special day.
Yes,
what
it is.
You want versus making others happy. So what if we live for an audience of one rather than trying to impress an audience?
That's so good. If you're always trying to make everyone around you happy, guess what? No one is ever always going to be happy.
Yep.
Rather than focusing on others' happiness as your primary focus, focus on your own health.
Right.
Because when you're healthy, everyone around you is going to be as happy as they're choosing or able to be.
Right.
Now John writes, on the third day. Is the third day. I wonder, when he's mentioning the third day, was he giving us a hint of the resurrection? You ever like play a game and it's a guessing game and you're like, just give me a hint, just give me a hint? I wonder if John is giving us a hint that even when life seems to be all wrong, Jesus can make it all right. Not just it's all right, but it's all right. Better than I ever dreamed possible. Better than.
Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding.
It's a wedding.
It's a wedding. Wedding this way.
It's this way, right? Like you got to know, like the wedding is this way.
Yep.
When you go to a wedding, you got to follow the signs. You don't go to the sign and just be like, okay, here's the sign. Because as we talked about last week, the sign is not the thing.
Right.
The sign is the thing that points to the thing. And we're going to a wedding.
We're going to a wedding.
Now, Jesus was invited, but why was he invited?
Right.
I wonder if it was because of his mom. Because at this point, Jesus was not very well known. I remember as a kid going places with mom.
Loved going places with my mom. When I was little, I loved to go to the Pink Elephant Car Wash.
The Pink Elephant
with my mom. Yeah, because it was so cool because I got to sit in the front seat as we went through the car wash. And it was like
on the inside
ride.
when it's all, you get it,
Yeah. And then as I got a little bit older, I got to go to Mary Kay parties and candle parties. And that was the best because not only did I get free samples, I got to try on the makeup, but I felt special because I was there with my mom.
Oh, now Jesus is there at this wedding. His mom's there. And at weddings, you have wedding vows. Like the traditional wedding vows today were end with until death do us part. People started to change that to as long as we both shall live. But it's gotten a little out of hand because now people are ending or wanting to end with, and I won't do a wedding if they end with as long as we both shall love. Like as long as you're both feel like you're not even going to make it through your honeymoon.
Or the next day.
Or the next day. We were looking at vows, and there are some funny vows out there.
There are. Listen to these. I promise to get up and get the remote from across the room, even if it was not I who placed the remote so very far away.
I love that.
I vow to never steal your covers unless you are hogging them. I promise not to drink your drink, even though I am thirsty, and your drink is literally right there.
These are some really good vows.
You'll like this one.
Okay.
I promise to love you as much as the Dodgers and not hold your gold dress against you. From this day forward, I will listen to all of your complaints about the mall if you say them during the off season.
Okay.
And promise to retire my baseball cap and face paint for public outings. I will love you in sickness and in health from this day forward until death parts us, or you become a Padres fan.
Oh, that was the best one yet. You better not become a Padres fan.
No.
So Jesus, they're at this wedding. He's there with his mom, and he has his disciples. At this point, there's probably 6 disciples on this journey. Nathanael had just been called by Jesus days earlier, and these disciples left everything and followed Jesus. They left their careers.
Yep.
They left their community. They left their family. They left everything they knew. Doesn't it seem ridiculous to leave the known for the unknown?
It does.
In your life?
Yeah.
You're like, well, the guy I'm dating, he's not the best. In fact, he's really not good to me at all. But if I break up with him, what if no one wants to date me? And like, God has an amazing guy for you, but you got to leave the bad for the great that is unknown. In the career, and you're like, I'm miserable. I hate my job, but at least it's a paycheck. And if I take that opportunity, it seems a little uncertain. You got to leave the known for the unknown. It's like, wait, hold on. What God is doing in this church, it's like, well, but God, this is certain. This is known. This is what we've been doing. This is life as we've always known it. But God is calling us as a church from the known into the unknown as we journey with Jesus. And we need to remember it is worth leaving everything as long as we're following Jesus anywhere and everywhere he leads us, because life will be better then.
So true. So here we see Jesus in different roles. As moms, we play different roles.
A lot of different roles.
Think about the role that I play as a mom, a wife, a bank, an Uber driver, a cook. You know, we're multitaskers. Feeling like we need to do it all, trying to save the day, super mom.
Yes.
You know, but mom's got this.
Mom's got this. Here she comes to save the day.
That's right.
Now the first role we see Jesus in at this wedding is he's the guest.
Right.
Jesus was not a recluse like John the Baptist. Jesus accepted invitations to social events. When was the last time you accepted an invitation to a social event? And we wonder why we're so depressed. We wonder why we're so discouraged. We've been locked up. We've been isolated. We are designed for community. And Jesus is modeling this so beautifully. Sometimes you think, I don't have time for, community. I don't have time to be a part of the community at church. I don't have time to get involved in the lives of my neighbors. Yet, that's what life is all about. It's not just about advancing our careers or getting things done. We need to calendar those things.
Absolutely.
Do you even still have a calendar?
I do.
I know you have a calendar.
I do.
But most of the time it's just like at home all day long, right?
Right.
And yet even being locked up or being at home or isolated or you're like, okay, hold on, I feel pulled in different directions. Like life is pulling me in different directions. We have life's distractions pulling in one direction. We have the demands of others pulling us in another direction. You are the most undemanding person ever, by the way. But what about our destiny? We need to be drawn by our destiny, not just pulled by the demands of others or by the distractions of life. We need to truly make up in our minds as a destiny decision. We're gonna invite Jesus into our lives.
Yep.
That is wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Invite Jesus into your life right now. Invite Jesus into that situation because Jesus enters normal experiences and he sanctifies them by his very presence. and he makes that better than.
Better than. Verse 3, when the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, they have no more wine.
What did she say?
Now I can just picture or imagine Mary stressing, they have no more wine.
I hear the stress in your voice. Now, a Jewish wedding feast would last a week.
Now, that's a party.
That's your kind
Can
of
you
party.
imagine a week-long wedding?
Like the parties,
the
like
feast?
you never want the party to
No.
stop. That's why at the end you have your never-ending goodbyes. You're
That's
like,
right.
can't we just keep this thing going?
Yep.
But at this wedding party, there's like a week. We don't want to run out of food. We don't want to run out of wine.
Right.
Now, it's important to know wine was the normal drink of the day. They didn't have soda.
Wait, pop. They didn't have pop.
Even though she's from the state of Washington, she's basically Canadian. We don't call it pop. What is pop?
So you call it soda.
Or Coke. Like everything's Coke.
No,
but
so let's just compromise soda pop. Yeah.
I know in a marriage you're supposed to compromise, but on this one we will not compromise. You'll call it your thing.
Yep.
And I will call it my thing.
Sure.
And so they didn't have sports drinks.
Nope.
Didn't have all the drinks and all the options we have today. And at that point in time, a family could be fined for running out of food or wine. Mm-hmm. So it's like, wait, hold on. This could be costly financially, and it could be costly from a social perspective.
Yep.
Like, hold on. Like, it's going to cost us money if we get fined,
Right.
and it's also going to cost us embarrassment.
Yeah.
Now, we have reason to believe that Jesus' earthly family was not wealthy. That would probably indicate that his friends and his community weren't wealthy either. So wondering maybe they ran out. Maybe the shortage of wine was due to a budget. Anyone know right now, like you're trying to stretch your funds, you're trying to make that money last?
Right, right. I remember growing up, I looked forward to going out to lunch after church with my family, with all my friends. That was like
And your family still does that to this day. They've done that every Sunday.
Every Sunday. But there were some Sundays where my parents said, you know what, we're just going to save some money. We're going to go home to Judy's kitchen.
Judy is her mom.
Right.
Happy Mother's Day.
Love you, Mom. Now, as a kid, that was like the worst. Go home to leftovers and miss out on the fun with your family and friends. Ugh. Every single time it was like, home to Judy's kitchen.
Judy's kitchen does have the best omelets, by the way.
Yeah, I love Judy's kitchen now, so it's really good.
Yeah.
So who do you run to when you run out?
Who you run to when you run out is going to determine how it turns out and if it's going to be better then.
Right.
So Jesus was in the role of guest, but now he's in the role of son.
Right.
And why did Mary approach Jesus? Like wondering, did she really expect Jesus to do something about this problem?
Right. Well, maybe she was assisting with the meal. Because you know us moms love assisting.
Always assisting.
Yes.
Even today, as we celebrate Mother's Day,
Yeah.
you and my mom, it's your celebration, but you're the ones
putting it on.
doing
Yes,
all
of
the
course.
work.
We like to assess whether it's helping kids with their homework or taking them shopping or planning parties. We're all about assisting. Or maybe Mary was close to the bride or groom. Either way, she knew and she cared that they ran out. And this season has revealed who cares about others, about church.
Hey, haven't you seen during the season? You're like, well, hold on. I thought they cared about me, and they haven't even sent me a text. Like, I thought they cared about me, and they haven't even checked in. And this season has revealed.
Right.
It's actually great to know, okay, now we see who really cares.
Yeah.
See who really cares about you and who really cares about church. Not just cares about our physical health, but also who cares about our spiritual health.
Yeah.
Because the church is essential. Who cares about our emotional health? Like, it's who cares. Like last week, who cared? It was the request of a dad to Jesus.
Right.
This week, who cares?
Right.
It's a mom. We're seeing a connection here between relationship and request.
Right, because
relationship and response.
Right, because the closer you are to the person, the more you care about their problems.
Isn't that true?
It's so true.
The closer you are, the more you care.
Yeah, it's like a mother changing their own child's diaper. I'm cool with that, or wiping their runny nose. But if I have to do that for another child,
it's like, hey, there's a smell coming from your kid, and you need to do something about it. There's some stuff coming from their nose,
right?
And you
Here's
need
a Kleenex.
If you want to get that close, like, okay. But your relationship to them will impact their response to you.
That's right.
We're talking better than.
Better than. She didn't tell Jesus what to do.
No, she didn't.
Nope, just the problem. Are you busy trying to find solutions?
Are you so busy telling Jesus not just the problem, but Jesus, here's the solution?
Right.
And it makes sense why we do that. As kids, we get grades in school based upon, did we solve the problem correctly? Can you imagine taking that test back to your teacher and saying, you solved the problem? That sounds ridiculous. At work, we get paid basically to solve problems. Can you imagine taking your work to your boss, not done, and saying it's your problem? Right. You solve it. It sounds ridiculous.
It does.
Here at the church, the staff, our team, it's like, we're like, hold on, don't bring us problems. Bring us solutions. But Mary's showing us, don't bring Jesus your solutions. Bring him your problems. Yep. Listen, bring your problems to Jesus. But maybe you need to leave your plans at the door to experience better than.
So good. Verse 4 says, woman, why do you involve me? Jesus replied, my hour has not yet come.
Woman.
Woman.
Woman. The reply seems rude. Like when you talk mother, mom, but that's not the case.
Right.
It's actually a polite way to address her. In the Greek, it's not disrespectful at all. In fact, Jesus taught about the importance of honoring your father and your mother. Yeah. And we live in a culture that doesn't honor anyone. Yeah. We don't even honor our own parents. Right. We live in a dis-culture.
Right.
We disrespect people. Yep. We dishonor people.
And when you honor God, you're honoring your father and your mother.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And right here, this is so key. Ooh, if we had time to unpack this, because John is introducing a key concept. The concept is, and he's gonna really right now introduce it, and then throughout his gospel account, he's gonna keep coming back to it as he unpacks it. The concept of the hour.
Yeah.
The hour.
The hour. Because Jesus lived according to heaven's clock. Heaven's time is always the right time.
Yes, it is. It's better than
our
time.
That's right. Verse 5, his mother said to the servants, do whatever he tells you. Mary pointed to Jesus. And are we the kind of moms that answer questions for our kids?
You know those moms, like you're talking, you ask their kid a question and they answer?
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Or do their homework? I don't. I assist. See, moms are always
Great job with the straight A's.
Oh.
It's like
but it's like a helicopter mom.
Yeah. It's like there's a difference between being a helicopter and being helpful.
Absolutely. So let's be helpful in empowering moms, because moms, you got this.
Moms, you do. You've got this. Mary's response shows she trusted Jesus. Our response shows whether we trust Jesus. It shows she trusted Jesus to do the right thing. This is a great example to follow. She said to them, do whatever he says.
Yeah.
Whatever. Reminds me of a Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Were you going all like...
no, I was just saying whatever.
Although the shoulders kind of threw me off. I was like, I don't know that I can do the shoulders. Like, but some of us go all Valley Girl, like whatever. Like, or some of us are just like, whatever. It's like a way of, we've given up.
Yeah.
Or it's a way of saying, whatever, we don't care. Like a kid talking to their parents, like, whatever. Some of us are just like, whatever I want, whatever I feel. Others are, whatever culture says, whatever is socially acceptable right now. What if we made up in our minds, whatever Jesus says? Will you do whatever Jesus says? And we're like, yes, I will. Yes, Jesus, whatever you say, I'll do it. What if he tells you to forgive that individual you don't want to forgive?
Woo!
Will you do whatever? What if he says to apply to that school that scares you because you don't think you're smart enough to go there? Will you do whatever? What if he says, hey, it's time to launch that business that's been in your heart and to step out in faith? Yeah. Will you do whatever? Whatever. Will you serve at church on a consistent basis if Jesus says that's what you need to do? Will you give not just your tithe, but go above and beyond if that's what will you do whatever? If you'll only do whatever Jesus says, you'll see wonders only Jesus shows.
Love that. Love that. Verse 6 says, nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons.
That is a lot. Big jar. That's a big. Now we ordered, because this holds how much?
This is 22 ounces.
22 ounces. I think this is 22 gallons, but we can agree to disagree once again. So this
22 gallons is what
it's 22 gallons. And like, so it was probably at least this big, and there were 6 of these. Can you imagine that? That would be like, hold on, that's a lot, right?
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. And Jesus knew. Jesus knew how many there were and how much they could hold.
Yep.
You're like, okay, so what does that have to do with anything? Jesus knew their capacity.
Right.
Jesus knows your capacity, which is how much you can handle, how much you can hold.
Right.
Jesus knows how much you can handle. He's not going to give you more than you can handle.
Right. And moms are great at knowing how much their kids can handle.
Oh, yes, they are.
Right? But sometimes we don't know how much we can handle until it is just too much. Until
it's too much. All they had were a lot of empty jars. That's all they had.
Yep.
A lot of empty.
A lot of empty.
They ran out and they had nothing. Can anyone relate? You're like, I used to have a lot of ideas and now I've run out and I'm empty. I used to have a lot of funds, but I've ran out.
Yeah.
And now I'm empty. I used to have a lot of friends before we started talking politics, but now I look around and relationally I'm empty. I used to have so many opportunities, and now it's empty. Can anyone relate? Like I have nothing.
Right.
It's like, wait, hold on. I'm completely empty. Well, would you bring your empty to Jesus? Would you bring your nothing to Jesus? If you'll bring Jesus your nothing, you'll see him do something. You're like, something what? Something ridiculous. Because with Jesus, I want you to get this. With Jesus, it's your capacity to receive. It's not your contents that you have to give. Let me say that one more time. With Jesus, it's not what you bring.
Right.
It's what he wants to bring to you. So it's your capacity to receive. How much can he fill you up to experience a better than life?
Right. Verse 7, Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine, but he did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew.
Yeah, then they knew. Here's a lesson. Jesus may involve you in the miracle. You may get to assist.
Yeah.
You're going to be an assistant, not a magician's assistant. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being the Messiah's assistant. That you're not just going to be a spectator. We live in a world of spectators where we just want to watch. No, this is about being a participator. Jesus is going to ask you to get involved. And here's the amazing thing. Not everyone knew what was taking place, except those who were involved. You're going to know because Jesus is going to involve you.
Right. And Jesus' mom knew.
Yes, she did.
She did.
She did.
Knew. And when you're involved in the process, you have insight to the product.
Yes, you do. It's a better than product.
It is a better than. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink.
And their taste buds and everything are not, they don't notice.
But you have saved the best till now. Now what Jesus did was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him.
Now, the disciples are just beginning on their journey with Jesus.
Yeah.
And this did something for them. This strengthened their foundation. This deepened their faith. They saw a crisis. It was a crisis for this family. And the crisis turned to compliments.
Yes.
Someone get ready for the crisis in your life that maybe no one even knows about. People are going to start complimenting you. And you're going to be like, they did not even know this used to be a crisis. Yep. Now, we don't know a whole lot about making wine. We're not experts in the winemaking industry. Maybe you are. But if you're going to produce wine, I think you first got to plant a vineyard.
Right.
Then it takes time, and you got to do something for the grapes to grow.
Sure.
Then I think you got to crush the grapes. I don't know. I've seen movies where they dance on it with their feet, and I think they use machines now, and they process it, and they bottle, and they store. And it takes years, I believe, to produce wine. Yeah. Minimum, sometimes longer. But the bottom line is it takes a long time. They didn't have a long time.
No.
They didn't have years.
Nope.
They didn't have a week. They didn't even have overnight. But many of us right now are looking like, wait, hold on. It's going to take time to restore this relationship. It's going to take time to launch this company. It's going to take time to finish my education. But we have an announcement for you. Jesus doesn't need time.
Right.
Jesus has power over time. What you think is going to take years, Jesus can do in a moment. You may not have time to solve the problem, but you always have time to seek Jesus. And when you seek Jesus, you'll see him do something amazing. We need to understand there is more to this miracle than just meeting a human need and saving a family from embarrassment. We need to understand it's not enough to just believe in the works of Jesus, to just believe in the miracles of Jesus, to just believe in signs and wonders. We need to believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe this explains why Jesus would often add a message to the miracle. The message was a way of giving the miracle meaning. But here, he didn't preach a message.
No.
I was thinking if he did, what would Jesus have preached about? Maybe he would have preached that the world takes and takes and takes until you're empty. But God gives fullness to your emptiness. Maybe Jesus would have preached a message that what the world offers its best at first, and then after you're hooked, it just gets worse and worse and worse. But guess what? with Jesus, it just gets better and better and better. Maybe Jesus would have preached that the world's joy always runs out because it's not true joy. But guess what? God's joy never runs out. In Scripture, wine is a symbol of joy. We have these water. This is water bottles.
Yes.
Not wine bottles. There is no wine in these bottles. This says more joy. Anyone feel like before, everything happened with the pandemic and the crisis that we're going through, you're like, well, hold on, like you were just sipping on joy, right? I need some more joy. So I got, but then what happened? You're like, wait, hold on. I got no more.
No more.
It says more, but I got no more. You got any? Because
let me see.
We can share.
Nope.
Nope. You just feel like in life you're like more joy. I have no more joy. And right now I really believe that what God wants to do is just more than meet what you are bringing to Him as your need.
Yep.
You might have a financial need. And God is Jehovah Jireh. He's your provider.
That's right.
But He also wants to fill you with joy today. You might be in a relational crisis. And you're like, I just want my spouse back in the house. And maybe God wants to do more than just that. Maybe He wants to fill that marriage with joy.
Yeah.
You might be like, I'm struggling with depression. I can't even sleep. I feel like life's not worth going on. I just want to be able to get a good night's sleep. Not only does God want to provide good sleep for you, but wants to fill your life with joy. I love it because Jesus said, fill it to the brim, which means it's going to get as much as it's able to receive. And He's going to fill your life right now with as much as you're able to receive. What if we learned from Jesus' mom on this Mother's Day?
Right. Bring your problems to Jesus.
That's what she did. She brought her problem to Jesus.
Yep. Ephesians 3:20 says this, never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination.
Ooh.
He will outdo them all. I love that. He will outdo them all, for His miraculous power constantly energizes you.
I love it. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
Are you ready that He will achieve infinitely more in your life? More than what? It means it's going to be more than your greatest request.
Right.
Mary didn't even bring a request to Jesus. She just said, Jesus, here's my problem. Your most unbelievable dream. You're like, I got some big dreams for my life. God has bigger dreams.
Right.
Your wildest imagination. You're like, we're talking about better than.